getting comfy. Oh. Excuse you. Do not hump my arm. I am your mother. Hi everyone, so today we are back on my bed. I am comfy, ready to spill even more tea about myself. So I went on Instagram, I was like, come on, let's do another tough Q&A. Ask me anything about like love, sex and relationships. And y'all did. Yeah, y'all really did, and a lot of y'all totally skipped over the love and relationships and just went straight to sex. So I just want to say, disclaimer, I will be talking about sex, and I want to talk about it in a non-sexualized way. I know we're talking about sex, but sex, let's be honest, it's just like a human condition. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with discussing about it. People can see it as a lot more uncomfortable and like harmful than it has to be. I'm not condoning sex if you're like underage, if you don't consent to it. I'm just sort of telling you my perspective of like dealing with sex as a 24-year-old like in a consensual like relationship. So I think I'm just gonna go by like who submitted these first. So I'm just gonna scroll up. Ooh, already juicy. Would you rather emotional cheating or physical cheating? I think it depends on the partner. Like, it depends on which one I feel would be more unforgivable. So when I was younger, when I was dating people, I was still a virgin and I didn't want to have sex with these people, even though I wanted to like make out, I wanted to like hang out, I wanted to date. So a lot of times I would tell them like, it's okay. I know this is very controversial to already start out with. I think I figured in my head they weren't gonna be like partners for life. And so I was like, you know what, just like sleep with someone else. My partners were men at that time, so I was just like, just sleep with another girl, like it's fine. To me, it's okay. So as long as you don't pressure me into doing it. But a lot of times they'll be like, no, I would never, why would I wanna do that? Oh, and then I'm just like, alright, you know, so that's your prerogative, like you don't want to do it even though I give you permission. So in that case, if they were to lie to me and say that they don't want anyone else and blah blah, but they still physically cheated on me, like they slept with someone else, even after telling me like, no, I'm not gonna do that, even after I said okay, then I would be like offended, because I'll be like, I literally gave you permission, you said take it back, I don't need your permission, and then you went to do it without my permission, you know what I mean? So this is the thing, like I haven't been openly cheated on, so maybe it did happen, but like I wasn't sure. The feeling that I had from it, it wasn't that I wasn't enough or like that I had to win him back, you know, that I wasn't a good enough girlfriend. Beyonce got cheated, Rihanna got cheated, you know what I mean? Like it's clearly not the woman's fault if they get cheated on. That's my take. And I feel like a lot of times guys like the chase. Girls can also do it too. Like if girls are cheating, like they enjoy having the variety, or they just don't feel comfortable being monogamous, or that they want something that they can't have in their relationship. I think with Mavis now, both would be equally as bad, because she cannot get physical with someone unless she is like emotionally attached to them. So if it is physical, then the emotional aspect is involved. But then, you know, if the emotional aspect is involved, I'm like, fuck. Will you confess to your crush, same gender, if you're not sure of her sexuality? That is something I wouldn't recommend. Yeah, unless y'all have talked about it in like a very generalized, you know, way, or if you feel like there has been some flirting, you know what I mean? I would never put that kind of stress on my platonic friend. So she's a girl, right? So especially when it's another girl, like I feel like women have a very hard time like standing up for themselves. It really sucks because we're taught to be as accommodating and we're taught to be as accepting as possible and to like be as nice as possible. So I think like rejecting someone is already hard, and then when you have to reject your like good female friend that happened to be in love with you, if you want something to happen between y'all, right, it's worth waiting. It's worth like seeing where her mind is at, if she's open to dating like other women, other girls. When you're confessing, you're not really doing her a favor, because you're not giving her the time to process it and to be ready for that opportunity. You are just like clearing your own like feelings, like clearing your own cache. You're like, hiding this is like so tiring. So you really just like give her all of the responsibility of your feelings. So I don't think that's very fair. I think that if you are serious and you really want to date her, that I think you should just wait patiently, scope it out, maybe ask another trusted friend to like ask her if this is something that she could ever imagine. And if she says no, then it's not her fault. It's just her orientation, you know what I mean? She's just not into girls, so you know. Okay, there are other questions about how I met my current partner, and I want to say that video's coming up soon. We're gonna film on Friday, so today is Monday, 22nd of June. Is today Monday? Fuck, it's Tuesday. Oh, Monday. So she'll be coming over on Friday, and then we can film. Ooh, worst reason for breakup. So I've only had 2 relationships, so you know obviously which one I'm talking about because the second one I'm not broken up. But I remember he said, you'll understand why next time. You'll get it, like I'll come back for you, like that kind of thing. That to me is the stupidest fucking thing you can ever say. Because why are you breaking up with me assuming that I would eventually get back with you? That would never happen. I'm like a one and done person. Like, you miss your chance, you miss your chance. So especially when we're already in a relationship, it's fucked up. Alright, in what ways do you think you and Mavis are compatible? I think I answered this in the previous one, right? Okay, we're like very promptly moving into the sex territory now. Again, I just want to say, okay, I am a little bit awkward talking about this because, yeah, growing up in Singapore, like, it's not easy. I just realized, like, our sex education was sorely lacking, and I want to make a video on it because I have so many feelings about it. I feel like we weren't prepared for a lot of things in our, you know, adult, like, sexuality-based world, and it's difficult because then we have so much, like, taboo and fear and uncertainty and, like, misinformation spreading around. So I don't know, I want to open this conversation. Let me know if you guys are into it. I know it's, like, difficult, a little cringy, you know. I'm trying to, like, work through it also because I think that it could really benefit lah from us being like a, oh, we're so liberal but also conservative, like, don't fucking talk about sex, like, kind of Singaporean society. So I also want to say that I will not share too personal of an experience because I know you might not mind, but like someone else might mind. Someone else might also watch this video because of the title and sexualize me, and that's something that I'm not comfortable with. I don't want to be sexualized. Being open about something like this could erase the taboo and just help educate everyone. You would not believe the amount of people that are like, how do 2 women have sex? I want to talk about it like as honestly and as candidly as possible, but I am making this video with no idea who is on the other side of the screen, like who I'm talking to. So just a request, please don't sexualize me, don't sexualize my relationship. We are 2 consenting adults who are in a very loving and really like stable, strong relationship. So my experience talking about this and talking about my previous relationships are what it is, you know? Let's be honest here, I don't really have like a young audience. Most of my audience are like 18 to 32. Y'all are of age, like adults, okay? Y'all can do what you want. My parents watch my videos. I really hope they're not watching this. I'll like text them to not watch this. But anyway, when I was in a straight relationship, when I had straight relations, I felt like the sex was very, I gotta get this done. I gotta like do a good job, and my enjoyment was not really a factor of it. So I never really enjoyed sex except for sex with my ex. My ex was the person that I lost my virginity to, and then when I broke up with him, I was like, he cannot be the only person that I slept with, ew. And so I like went to sleep with other people, just a couple lah, and then I was like, no, like I just realized that like casual sex is not for me because the comfort of being vulnerable and being like so close in a space together like is something that I cannot bypass. So now that I'm with Mavis, yes, we have sex. I really sincerely hope that you don't just think that sex is only possible with a penis. So there are very many different types of lesbian sex. There is non-penetrative sex, so some lesbians don't like being penetrated. So that kind of sex will have a lot of like touching, a lot of caressing. I do hope y'all know about clit stimulation. Like, that's such a huge thing. Even if you're straight, if your boyfriend, husband, oh my god, please not husband, like if they don't know about it, you have to fucking teach them. I feel like a lot of porn and a lot of like the media's representation of sex is a lot of like penetrative, like very hard sex, but unless you're into that, like that's not entirely like the easiest thing to transition into, especially from like being a virgin or not really having sex at all. Touching is one, clit stimulation is one. You can also choose to either use your mouth, like, you know, oral sex. It's the same as blowjobs but just on a woman, you know what I mean? Like, it's nothing like that fucking crazy. You also have your fingers, you know, there are like different fingers that you are able to use. I mean, as you can tell, my fingernails are very long, so this wouldn't do, you know. You'd have to have short fingernails so that you don't like clip the skin underneath, it's gonna hurt. You could do 1 or 2 fingers and then you can like sort of like alternate also, and then you can also use toys, like introduce toys if you want, vibrators, dildos and stuff like that. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. So it's very funny because like when I was younger, right, my first kiss was with a girl, and after that like I just never knew what to do. Okay, to be fair, like even with straight sex, I really didn't know what to do. Like I didn't know that the penis had to be erect first. That's why I said like sex education is so important, because we need to sort of know where different boundaries are, like what kind of things we are doing to our bodies so that we can give consent or not to, you know? Yeah, I really like didn't know all of these things, and because I didn't know specifically about lesbian sex, I know that there was a girl that when I was 18, she wanted to have sex and I was like, I was scared because she was like very experienced and she wanted to do all these things to me, and I was like, I don't know how to do those things to you, like I don't know how to go down, like I don't know shit. I don't know, I felt like super awkward. Telling your partner that you are awkward and you don't know all of these things like really helped for me also. Like when I was first dating Mavis, I was like, fuck, like how can I say that I'm a pansexual when I don't know how to maneuver the female body? And I was like, oh, it's just like maneuvering mine. And everyone has like different preferences. Everyone has like different boundaries, or there are some things that you can do to me, there's some things that you cannot. So it's very important to like communicate. And another thing to note is that the sex will get better and better like the more y'all do it together, because the more you find what each other likes, the more you can understand like how each other's bodies are responding, you can get into the groove. And I also feel like the emotional component, like love for me is like a really big thing, right? So when I feel the love from her and I feel it's really like an emotional connection, like that makes it even better for me. And I'm not trying to sound like some like wholesome love guru, sex guru. I'm so comfortable that I'm enjoying myself that I can show her that I'm enjoying myself without being like awkward about it. So the answer to the question, is sex more enjoyable with a guy or girl? I would say on the average, definitely girl. But with my ex, because we were together for so long, the experience is completely different. It's like me like considering like flossing my teeth and brushing my teeth. Like they're two different things. I mean, they get your teeth clean, you know, you achieve your goal, but it's like two different things that you like really cannot compare, and both are like enjoyable in their own way. Like getting to that final spot that you want to be at like can be achieved via so many different ways, and you'll still be able to enjoy yourself. Like you'll still be able to enjoy after, like it also matters what happens after. So I feel like, yeah, I really cannot answer. When was your first time having sex? How was it? Was it painful? My first time was when I was 19 with that ex. I think we were together for 3 to 4 months. We dated for around like 8 months, but we were officially together for around 3 to 4 months. Initially, like I was still very afraid of having sex. I think we still all have that like you gotta keep your virginity for as long as possible kind of thing. Sex education and like sexual health and wellness, birth control, like we weren't educated with all these kind of things. So like I'm glad that it took me like a while to like lose my virginity. Also because right, when I was in J1, half of the people in my class, I wouldn't say which particular class, but half the people in the class were like, yeah, I'm not a virgin anymore. And I was like, because I was in a girls' school, right? And I didn't even consider the possibility that I could lose my virginity. So I was just like, what the fuck? So I wanted to wait for someone that I thought was worth it. And my first boyfriend, I thought I was gonna marry, and I thought, you know, everything was gonna be great. So a few months in, actually I was like ready, but I was still like scared because I was like, what's gonna happen? I don't know anything, like I don't know if I'm gonna even enjoy it. Because even when I was like masturbating last time, I never inserted anything into myself. It was always like over the skin touching myself, and I was like, that's enough, thank you so much, like woohoo. And I was just like scared. So it was like a few months of like touching and making out, and then heavy petting, and then me being like, okay, finish, like it's enough. And then eventually like it just happened, and I was like, okay. Like first few times, yeah, it was painful, but then after a while, like you sort of learn to enjoy it, especially if you are no longer like anxious or scared, or when you trust like the process and you trust your partner, then I think it's okay. How should I react if my ex has told others about our sexual history without my permission? I don't think it's okay. I think if you're doing this with someone else, you need to seek their permission if you even want to talk about it, or you can do it anonymously, protecting yourself and your partner's identity. If you're saying like, oh yeah, my girlfriend, or like, you know, my partner, oh, someone and I had sex, obviously the people that you're talking to or that hear about it will automatically like make that connection and be like, oh yeah, it's her. Especially if it's something a little bit more like kinky, if it's like a relationship, like a sexual intimacy problem that y'all have. So that also happened to me, and I was very upset because I was like, I don't even know this person. He told like another girl. I was like, what the fuck? You're just going around telling this random girl that I don't even know who she is about something that I can't even tell like my own best friend. Especially if it's your ex. Like I feel like this is the kind of person that would also like post revenge porn kind of thing. So I think you should like speak to them and be a little bit more firm and just be like, hey, Like, what happened in the past was in the past. Like, I'm not giving you permission to talk about this, so fucking don't. Oh, okay, so interesting. There are two people here that ask like very similar questions. How do you approach girls, and also how do you meet partners in general? And then someone said, as a queer person, what is the best way to discreetly find other queer companions? Companions meaning like friends with benefits, like fuck buddies, like friends. First way is IRL, like through mutual friends, you know, through like physical settings and stuff. And then the second way is to do it online. So I would say that when I think there was only one girl that ever hit on like IRL. But she did not take to it at all. When I was younger, I think just people in your vicinity, you just kind of like meet them and you hang out with them and you kind of like make it a little clearer to them. I don't know why. I think I was like more of a baller like back then. It was like a lot easier, but now I think it's harder also because I don't look gay. So I think that's like the second thing. I guess your best bet, like especially now, would be online dating, but I would say like you have to be a lot more patient, because a lot of times like when you say you want to look for girls on Tinder or whatever else, it's a lot of like straight girls looking for friends, or like bi-curious girls with their boyfriends like looking for unicorns. I just like nah, not my thing. So just gotta have a little bit of patience. Same lah for partners, guys and girls, they're like around the same. Online dating is really like finding a needle in a haystack. It's really difficult, and you meet a lot of people that aren't who you would normally even vibe with. They won't be people in like your natural like social circle anyway, so that's something that you have to remember. Like, you're gonna have to be a little bit more patient in like flipping through people to find someone that you could vibe with. How to deal with body size insecurity during sex? This is actually a very good question, because I feel hella insecure in my body. It's been an ongoing thing for like years now, but I also always felt like I wasn't pretty in my body and like I wasn't confident. Funny enough, when I finally got to the age where I would like make out with guys and they'll be like, dang, like that's a good butt. I was like, oh my god, thank you so much. Like, you like my butt? Thanks. My boobs? Great, thanks. That actually like helped me embrace my curves more. Not that I was seeking like any men's validation, but that made me feel better for having a normal body, because I was brought up in like a very sport centric, like very lean, as skinny as possible to be like fantastic looking. And so like that really warped my perception of what looked beautiful. Also because like I love high fashion, like I love models, so I was idolizing people that looked the exact opposite of me, and it was really bad for my like body image. So I was like very insecure with like people touching me and being like, oh, she's got a little bit more meat on her bones kind of thing. But I realized that like guys are just so happy to like be able to touch a boob that they like don't care if it's small, if it's big, if you got like, you know, like a muffin top, what, they don't care. They're just like, ooh, it's a female body, they're so soft and they're so comfortable. I think it's the same with like any of my partners. Like, I have never looked at them and been like, ew, put some clothes on that. Like, never ever. So just love your body, love the fact that it works, love the fact that you are sexy and that you're like full of curves. Even if you feel like, oh, you're too skinny or your boobs are really small, like your butt is not juicy enough, like, you know, no one cares. Like, really no one cares. If your partner ever tells you that they mind how your body looks, that is a sign of a very shitty and abusive partner. So don't allow that to happen. Just be like, that's my body. Don't want, then don't touch her. How has your perception of love changed, like, compared to when you were younger? So, like I said, when I was younger, I pictured a very heterosexual relationship. Imagine that I would have a husband, that I would be happy staying home. He would, like, you know, go out and make that money, and I would be like the best mom ever. Because for me, like, I wouldn't want someone else to raise my kids. I want to raise my kids myself. But now I'm just like, fuck, I don't even know if I want to get married. I don't know if I want to have kids. I'm leaning on no right now, because I already have a dog. Like, I cannot think of like vacations like without making plans and arrangements for him. And I just feel like, oh my god, having a kid, like, you will never take a break from being a mom. And I just don't know if that's something that I would ever consider, especially when the world is like going to shit now. It's a very racist and homophobic world, and I just like don't know if I want to put my child through that, you know? And at the same time, like, I don't know how comfortable I am with my husband like going out and basically absolving all of his duties as a father just to earn money when I can do the same at home. So when I was younger, I think I conflated the two of like duty and like family, kinship, and love. Like, I thought that love would just be like a natural component in all of these things if you're doing all of it, but surprise, surprise, it's not. So I don't know like how it's gonna turn out. I don't know if love really needs to be proven by having a family, by having like a wedding, and by having all of these things. If you want to, like, that's great, but just for me, like, I don't know if this is something that is in my cards. You know what I mean? Like, I could be with Mavis for the rest of my life. I wouldn't be able to apply for HDB. We probably have to pay like 3 times more. We gotta wait until we're 35. I don't know if we'll ever adopt. I don't know if we'll just be like one cat, one dog, you know, just us chilling. So yeah, I guess like the perception of love now is just a lot more wide, a lot more like, what kind of a life can I have with like this partner, rather than like, oh, I want to have this, I just gotta find the right person. Being bisexual, when it comes to sex, do you have a preference between males and females? Okay, so previously when we were talking about sex with men and sex with women, like, I talked about like the biological difference and how it doesn't matter, but I will say that the enjoyment factor and like the intimacy and just like the overall feel of it all does feel different to me, and I much prefer having sex with my current partner who is biologically female than, I would say, my ex who is biologically male. I think it's also because like my feelings and my orgasm matters a lot more. It's very, very sad, but it's true. To me, it's like enjoyment in different ways, right? You know, to reach the same goal. But the thing that I realized with sex with another woman is that it's a lot more tender. They seem to know what they're doing more, I guess, because like they know like what kind of strength to use, like where to touch and that kind of thing. And it's a lot more comfortable. Like I don't know how to really explain it, but I feel like the pressure of me to perform like how much I'm enjoying it is also like way lower, because having been in a hetero like sexual relationship for so long, like I feel stressed if I don't like finish early so that like the other person can finish and then we can be done. Sometimes it just takes me a while, sometimes it takes more than one round, so I'm just like, fuck, I'm tired already, you're clearly not getting there, but I can't like communicate to you that it's not working, and then I just end up like really tired and like really sore afterwards. I feel like when it's with Mavis, like I can communicate these things to her and she can like assure me that I don't have to get stressed because like we got all the time in the world kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, like I just feel like, guys, like, use your fingers if you can't anymore. You know, you have to like find different ways and make sure that the sex is enjoyable for you and your partner rather than just yourself. Like, after the guy finishes, then everyone's like, okay, done, the sex is done. I'm like, no, dude, no, what the fuck? So that's another thing. What is your love language? Ew. I would say like I have multiple love languages. I think when I did the quiz, most of it was quality time and physical touch, but acts of service was like really high up there also. I'm a Capricorn. Like, when you try and show me that you're helping me, like even it's with like laundry, with the chores, that's also how I return my love language. Like, I'll help you do things, I'll clean up after you, I will help you do whatever, I'll massage you. Like, to me it's like I will make life as convenient and as enjoyable for you as I can. But definitely quality time is like number one. Yeah, I like need to see your face. I need to be able to like touch you and kiss you. The others are words of affirmation and gifts, right? I think that those are also valid love languages. I feel like sometimes words can be empty, and I know that words can be empty. But then I realize how without it, I also like a bit, why you never say I love you in like a while? That also makes me like really happy. So I think you don't have to stick to like one particular love language. You can just like shop around, do a combination of all of them. But I think it's really important to like discuss with your partner like what kind of love language you crave the most and what kind you want to give out the most, so that y'all recognize that like this is your showing love. So next question, sex before marriage. And the next question is, have you gotten intimate with Mavis yet? Straight but curious about same-sex sex. Okay, growing up, my impression was no. Of course, no sex before marriage. That's what we've been taught, right? But then I realized that, oh my god, what if I don't want to get married? That means I never get to have sex at all, ever. I think like after, you know, we grow to a certain age where we are adults and we know what we're consenting to, we know that this is what we want, it's okay. So for me, like I said, I had sex when I was like 19. I think it was a good time because he was like my first ever proper serious relationship. I don't regret losing my virginity to him because I feel like that relationship relationship in itself was like a huge lesson. I have since then like dated a couple of people afterwards, and I have had sex in a more casual setting, and I don't regret it. Well, I regret some of the people that I have sex with, but I don't regret like the opportunity for me to like figure out what I like and what I don't like, because I realize like sex is very different between people, even if they're all like straight men. Like we all do like different stuff, you know what I mean? Now I know that I'm not the kind of person to like do casual sex, or I'm not the kind of person to have friends with benefits, so I'm like okay with it. And now that I am with my partner Mavis, like I know what I like, I can communicate to her what I like, and I can enjoy it. So yes, I do have sex with Mavis. We have sex. Have you faced any discrimination in public with your girlfriend? Have we? Also because like she presents very masculine, we don't like lick each other's faces on the escalator, you know what I mean? I think like homophobic people are actually a lot more quiet about their homophobia until they get online, like behind their screens, and they can be like keyboard warriors, because I think they just instinctively know it's none of their business, like IRL. Have you ever had problems pleasuring yourself or any of your partners sexually? With myself, absolutely not, because I know what I like and I know what I'm feeling and I know what to do, you know what I mean? And that's the thing that I highly encourage y'all to do, like figure out what y'all like. If you want, read erotica, like there are many different kinds of erotica. You can see and feel like what kind of turns you on and what you like, so that you can communicate this to all of your future partners slash your partner, you know? And with my other partners, like sexually, it's never been a problem until my current relationship. So there are things that she's not comfortable doing, and a big thing for her is consent. So every time we do things, right, like I need to ask her for permission, because on the off chance that she's just not feeling comfortable, she don't want to do it, then I won't do it. It's okay, I'll just like work around it. Everyone is different, everyone has like different comfort levels and different boundaries that they draw for themselves, so I just work around it because I love and respect my partner and I want to do what's comfortable for her. Okay, have you sexted? Yes, but never ever sent any nudes. I don't think I've ever taken nudes in my life. That's just like not something that I ever want to do. But yes, I have been like, come over. Yeah. Most bizarre, wildest sexual experience. I cannot say. So someone asked, how can one tell if they're pan but haven't encountered or felt attracted to all the genders yet? I think this is a very good question. So I often ask myself also like, how am I so sure that I'm pan? To me, it's the fact that I won't be turned off by someone if they told me they were of a certain gender. I guess you could really think about it like, how would a young girl know that she was lesbian if she's never liked a girl before? But then you can also ask, how do you know if she's straight if she's never had a crush on a boy before? You know, I think it's what you're most comfortable like labeling yourself with, and if you're not sure, you don't have to label yourself. You can just sort of sit back on it, like think about it and be like, maybe this is something that I identify with, but I won't be so quick on like pasting that label on me yet. What kind of people you won't be open to dating, what kind of people you would be open to dating, and just like really slowly figure it out. If you really feel like, okay, I don't think I would be like really set back from like anyone of any gender, I'd be like okay with that, you know? And if you're really not okay with that, then you'd be like bisexual, because you're still attracted to like more than one group of people. So I think that's fine, don't stress out about it. What will you do if you and Mavis want sex? So for me, like either at night or when we want to take like an afternoon nap, like we'll just start kissing and making out, and then I'll be like, and then like she'll know what it means. Okay, it's a really long story. So basically, this girl fell in love with a guy, they flirted, she broke up with her boyfriend to be with this guy, but he had a girlfriend this entire time and didn't tell her, and she told him make a choice, and he made the choice of his girlfriend and stopped talking to her. Okay, so she's upset because she's like, why did you pick the girlfriend, you know? Then she also feels bad because it's against her morals, and then she wants to let the girlfriend know, but then she's like, oh, should I not? So what would you do? So one of my best friends has actually been in a situation like this before. She was dating someone, okay, she wasn't attached, so she was just dating someone that she found on Tinder. Everything was going well. She didn't know that he had a girlfriend, and she was like totally unaware of the whole situation. He was also like a fucking liar. Dude, he lies about everything, including his name. oh. So he's just one of those like compulsive, like sociopathic, like liars, right? So my friend was worried about her, and also because the girlfriend is in an LDR with like the guy. So my friend just sent a message to her and was like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but like your boyfriend is literally like on Tinder, like hooking up with multiple girls, including myself. So I just want to bring your attention to this just to like make sure that you're safe and you know that you're aware of these things that are happening lah. He ended up seeing the messages first on her phone because he flew to where she was to see her, and it was a mess. It was so fucked up. He called like so many times. He threatened my friend. He then started crying and saying that he was like mentally unstable and that's why like he was doing that. And it was, oh my gosh, cheating guys are like one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life because they're just so like ridiculous when they're being caught. So we didn't know what he said, but the girl ended up like blocking my friend, and then she was like, you know what, I tried. It was hurtful to her because like she thought that this guy like understood. He was a very smooth talker, a very intelligent guy. So she was like, dang, I thought I had a boo, but it's not. He's everyone else's boo. So we were like, fuck, this guy is not good news, right? And he has a very bad rep already. Okay, so y'all are wondering like why I'm a part of this entire thing, right? I know, it's just like for me watching, being like, oh my god, what a shit show. So my best friend was the one that like got catfished, I guess, by this guy. This guy I met at a music festival before. I know his name, but not much else about him. And the girlfriend followed me. So she watched my video, she like followed me on Instagram. Then I was like, holy shit, let me try and talk to her. So yeah, in the end, like a few months later, we all got the opportunity to meet. And then I was like, let's talk about the fucking elephant in the room. And she was like, oh my god, okay. I was like so nervous. I was like, why would you block my friend? Like we were trying to warn you, like this guy is fucking sick in the head. And then she told us everything and it was so juicy. And I don't know if I could like, the story is really so insane. Maybe I could do a story time on it, but it doesn't concern me, so I feel very awkward about like, you know, the whole thing. So anyway, she was like, yeah, I mean, he's crazy. Like we all agree now that he's like insane. And the reason why she blocked my friend was because he was actually there with her overseas. She was like studying overseas, so they were in the same room together, and he had convinced her that she was a stalker from primary school. How crazy is that? And I think like she knew in the back of her head like something was wrong, but she was like, he's all the way here, we're trying to have a good time, you're gonna be staying for like a month more, like I really don't want to break up with you or like get angry at you right now, you know? And the thing about both my friend and this girlfriend is that like they're not the kind to date, and they're not the kind to like get into relationships. So the both of them had thought like this guy was like very intellectual, very like emotional, very sensitive, okay, very like more emotionally invested in him. And I was like, dang, this is a soft boy, this is a fuck boy, stay away. That was like the craziest story. So anyway, going back to this story, like I think especially because this person that asked the question, like, girl, you left your own boyfriend and like you ended up losing both, so I think that that may play into your disappointment. But I don't think it's fair for you to try and ruin another relationship unless you have proof that you can show her and you are thinking for her, like you're thinking on the girlfriend's side, like, hey, I don't want this girl to be in a relationship for 5 years or whatever with this guy who is like actively cheating behind her back. That's the only time I would think it's okay to say that, and you have to phrase your words in a way that's not attacking her, because she's obviously not the problem. He's obviously the one that's like going around cheating lah. So yeah, it's a very difficult like situation. Next question. I always feel like I'm thinking about my ex whenever I'm thinking about sex and intimacy, and it makes it harder to get over them. I don't know if this is a legit question, but Wells, any advice? Girl, I feel the same. Why did you think that I like ended up being on like a I want casual sex like kind of road? Because I was like, fuck if this guy be the only person I've ever slept with, like that is not okay. Like I just wanted to like erase his imprint like off my body so that I wouldn't be thinking of him every time I thought about sex. But that was not the way to go. Like I felt like I had forced myself into a situation that I really didn't want to be in, that I wasn't immediately comfortable. It was like trying to get rid of dirt with more dirt. Like it was just You should really embrace the idea of like sex by yourself, you know, like reading erotica, masturbating, like do anything that makes you happy. I will tell you, the first thing that I did after breaking up with my boyfriend at that point was that I ordered myself a little vibrator. did that, it was such an empowering moment because I was like, I don't need no man for this shit. Like, fuck, I can enjoy myself. I find that we have to like take back our sexuality. Like, we are not just here to perform or to like be cavities for men, you know what I mean? Like, we are so much more than that. If that is the one thing that you have experience in that turns you on and gets your feelings up, then okay, fine. But you also realize that that's not really your ex. That was your sexual experience with your ex. So your experience is the thing that you're kind of like hung up on and not your ex. So just think about it that way, okay? So continuing with your last Q&A, with all the fights that you have with your significant other, does sex help? When we were fighting, we had a lot less sex. We were both angry, right? So it wasn't like I could just kiss and make everything okay if she doesn't want to respond. I don't know, but I think like the makeup sex is always like really hot and like really fun because like we show all of our love for each other like in this like very passionate way, so it's like a fun time. And someone asked, they're very cute, what are your views on hair removal on VJJ? Is it really necessary? Crying face, crying face. So hello. Body hair, the hairiest person like comes up. And then someone else also asked like, does body hair matter? So for me, I was like self-conscious about that shit. I was like, ugh, I don't like to shave because it hurts. It's very prickly and like really irritating on your skin, and like you get ingrown hairs and shit. It's just not great. And obviously like waxing hurts like a bitch. So I would say that I didn't like, you know, get rid of the rainforest, but I kept like a very neat bush, and no one has ever complained. Like no one's ever been like, oh my god, where am I going? You have hair. And I also got Sugared. The shop is called Sugared. So it's basically like a hair removal place. You can do it for other parts of your body as well, but they specialize in Brazilian, so like your bikini lines. They use like a honey sugar kind of mix that you can actually eat. It was actually quite nice to eat. It's a lot less painful, and wow, they really rip the hair out from the freaking root, and you are like a hairless baby for around 1.5 weeks, and then you can start to feel like the fuzz coming up again. And the thing is, right, whoa, you would not believe like how soft and plushy like your VJJ feels after that. Oh, it's a very nice feeling. And at that point, like I didn't have any partners. I was like, damn it, no one can enjoy my soft and plushiness, you know what I mean? I was like, damn it, you know, no one can see this, no one can enjoy this, fuck. But you know, I was just like having a fun time in the shower like by myself and being like, wow, so soft, so smooth. If you are that concerned about like body hair, especially in your bikini line, like that's something you can do, especially if you're the kind that like wears bikinis a lot, if you're the kind that just likes a more like hygienic, like hairless area, that's something you can consider if you really hate waxing. You could also do laser, but laser is expensive. If you don't want to, if you feel like the only reason why you want to get rid of your body hair, whether it's the bikini line or your legs or whatever, is only because you want to please your partner or you don't want to be embarrassed by your partner, then I think this is something that you should communicate to your partner. Like for me, look at my hairy ass legs, man. Also because like we're all staying home right now, and like honestly my partner doesn't give a shit. Only at times where I have like a nice event or like when I have like, you know, fancy stuff to go for, then I will affiliate, and affiliate lasts me like almost a month. So it's like very fuss free for me, and it doesn't really hurt me. But it's just to me like right now it's like okay, and my partner doesn't mind, and my partner enjoys my body, like every inch of it. I really like suggest talking about it with your partner. Also like Sugared, the place I was talking about, they basically do it for men too. So if you want to do it, you can be like, partner, why don't you do it too? And then you'll both get it done and you'll be like nice hairless little babies. If that's your preference, that's fine. If you have the ability to switch Mavis into a born male, will you do it? For benefits like marriage and pregnancy. We've talked about it before, and I think she behaves more like a straight man than a lesbian when it comes to like dating and relationships. So if I ever had the ability, I will ask her like, do you want me to change you into a biologically like cisgendered hetero male? And if she says yes, then I will switch. If not, then no. Because that's not my decision, you know what I mean? I am with you regardless of your gender, whether you're a straight guy or whether you're like biologically female that doesn't really identify as being a woman, that's okay with me. Instead of changing the person, why don't we change the laws? Come on. Like, why are we not even talking about whether gay marriage can be a thing in Singapore or not? We're literally only talking about decriminalizing the Penal Code 377A, which basically, like I said, is a law that criminalizes men having sex with men. To me, it's like, bro, like it's such an archaic rule, and PMD has already said like more than 10 years ago that it can never be used towards like two consenting males in the privacy of their own house, you know, like in private. So I'm like, then why is this here? Because this is clearly a discrimination. It sets everyone back. I can't get married to the love of my life. We can't apply for an HDB. Like, it's just very sad. And like, if I ever want to adopt a kid, like, it'll be so much harder. So yeah, like, let's not change the person, let's change the law. I have a friend here that's like so awkwardly asking like, how do females have sex with other females? I'm so sorry. You don't have to be sorry, girl. Like, it's okay. Like, I'm okay talking about this as long as you don't sexualize me or you think that I'm like a different person from talking about my sexual experience, because I really think that we should talk more about these things. Like I said, I am surprised that no one really figured out that fingers can be used in sex too, right? I mean, like, if we use it on ourselves, then we can definitely use it on other partners as well, right? See, the finger can move so much, right? The finger can go places, can move about in places, and it's a lot less intrusive. Like, to me, I have like alarmingly small hands, but like the normal finger size is actually perfect. How did you and Mavis decide to stop being friends and get the romance in the air instead? Oh, sorry, romance in the air. Love story question. I want like it in. Okay, a lot of people did actually ask me like what happened to my previous relationship, and they want to know because I think y'all have heard like snippets of stuff in my live stream and like me talking about it. Yeah, it's a very difficult relationship to like really get into because it was so good for a while and I was so excited about it. It was the first and only relationship I'd ever been in, right? So I missed a lot of the warning signs, and then it turned emotionally and in other ways like abusive. So that's a short gist of it. I won't get too much into it, also because I need to, dude, like, how am I supposed to tell you a year and a half's worth of like things that have happened in the relationship that really changed the course of my life forever, you know what I mean? So I'll find like a time to talk about it, but right now like I still don't feel ready. It's been like what, 2-3 years. I still feel very like triggered just thinking about these things, and it's very difficult to even like communicate them. So I want to wait until like I feel like I'm ready. Okay, next one. Who is the clingier one in your relationship, and how do each of you guys deal with it? So I actually showed her some of the questions because she was a bit worried actually. She was like, I don't want you to do these questions like alone because like I don't want you to feel very awkward. Like, do you think it's better if I was there with you? But then I was like, this video can't wait because I'm already late on like my uploads, and like I'm okay. Like, I would actually prefer talking about this by myself. I feel like if Mavis was here with me, I would be like very shy and very awkward, and we won't be able to answer like a lot of the sex questions, especially when it's like me and her. So I actually sent her a preview of like some of the questions that were being asked, and she saw this question and she was like, I think it's both of us. Then I was like, no dude, it's you. I'm gonna leave the messages here, it's quite funny. But anyway, it's her, because I was like, holy shit. I distinctly remember thinking like, wow, I thought I was gonna be the clingy one because like I've had a crush on her forever, and like I was the one that sort of asked her like, would you ever consider being in a relationship with me, right? So I was like, I thought I would be the one that was like, oh my god, I just have to hold on to you like forever. But turns out like I'm really not. I think it might be also that I like grew out of the want of having a, excuse me, oh my god. I think I also grew out of like the desire for just purely being in a relationship. And I crave one that works, that is healthy, that isn't like abusive, and that isn't toxic. So, excuse me. I don't know why he's so bitey today. I think he might be teething. So I ended up like really being a lot more chill and laid back than I thought I would be. And I remember being like, wow, for someone that looks so cool and so unbothered by all the elements in the world, like, she very clingy, yeah. How do I deal with it? At first I kind of liked it because I was like, hee my baby thinking of me. But then after that I was like, dang, like, you need to stop like texting me like every 5 minutes, dude. So now it's like a lot better because I think we are just more stable in general, and she is less clingy. And also because like I would tell her, I'm like, I'm great but I'm stressed out, and she was like, oh no, I'm kidding. When I go like, baby, where you go? And then I'll be like, oh okay, but it doesn't feel like joking, please stop, I'm stressed. So she'll be like, okay. Hypothetically, if your partner was generally less capable than you in many aspects, would you feel the need to shelter her or him? Less capable meaning financially or emotionally or mentally? When you get into a relationship, when you have a partner, it's a partnership, but the obligation for you to fulfill your needs as an individual should never be put on someone else or your partner. Like, your partner should never be responsible for like all of your meals or all of your rent or all of that, unless that's something that you consented to. More so than an added burden for them, I just think it's just not very smart for you, because I feel like there won't be a way to protect yourself. So let's say like if you move into your partner's house, you don't own anything that's in there. You know what I mean? Like, if one day y'all break up, right, this person's gonna change the locks and then you're gonna be like left homeless. Not having any income at all, that kind of thing, like that to me is something that I wouldn't ever get myself into, because I just feel like financial independence cannot be like overlooked even when you're in a relationship. Like, that's just, even when you're in a marriage, honestly. Yeah, I just don't feel like that would be comfortable for me. And so I think if you're talking about like financial wise, if the person is less capable than you, like, would you shelter him? Would you like pay for rent? Would you cover more of rent? Would you pay for the food, groceries, etc.? I think, excuse me, boy. I think if you want to, and if you're willing to, and you're happy to do it, I think it's okay. But I think there should be no obligation in like, you earn a lot more than me, you know, like, can you actually like pay more for the rent or pay for all of my meals, that kind of thing. I don't feel like it's fair for you to ask someone to pay for you or to have someone ask you to pay for them. So emotional, like mental capacity, if I feel like they are less capable, meaning like maybe they are more prone to anxiety attacks, maybe they're more prone to symptoms from like having disorders or having like problems, for example, like having emotional issues. If you really care for the person, and if this person actively wants to get better and not to use you as like an emotional punching bag, so it's very important to identify that this is actually a thing that you can help and that you can tahan yourself. Once again, there's no obligation. You must be ready to like be able to take on that extra burden. I think it's the same way. Like, you can coach through this person, you can be a supportive partner, you can read up on articles and books and see how you can be more of a supportive partner. If your partner has like an eating disorder, for example, if they have depression, if they have anxiety, like, these things are things that I feel like if you want a good partnership, you need to learn how to do these things. You need to learn how to be able to handle these episodes. You need to learn how to help mediate your feelings. You need to learn how to be supportive, and you need to learn to listen and stuff like that. If you want your partner but you don't want any of their mental illness, you don't want any of their problems, then that's not a real partnership. You're just having very conditional love. You just need to learn to love all of them, and if you're not well equipped enough to do it, then you need to educate yourself. But I'm saying all of this like knowing that your partner knows that this is a problem and they're actively working on it also, because I don't think it's fair for you to try and be as supportive and as loving, as kind and gentle as possible when they don't know that they have a problem and they continue to abuse you, whether it's like alcohol abuse or bipolar disorders, whatever else. If they don't realize that this is something that's wrong with them, they won't want to change. So you like pouring your heart out and like trying your best to be patient and like trying to change them isn't gonna work. You don't have to shelter them from being like homophobic or like racist, you know, these things need to be called out. If it's like a mental thing, they have to recognize that these are symptoms and they have to find like a plan to get better. No matter how slowly they're improving, as long as they are maintaining and they're not sliding back down, I think it's a good sign. Then you can continue like being that supportive partner and giving them like the emotional shelter and support. So that's what I think. Final question. About 3 of y'all asked the same question, which is like tips on getting back into the dating game. Any advice to better treading the dating scene in SG, and how to feel ready. So I think like all the times that I thought I was ready, I really wasn't. I feel like it was just life like playing a very cruel trick on me. Like, the one time that I truly gave up and I like didn't want to date at all was the time that we started talking and ended up being in a relationship. So there are things that just can't be rushed. I think I kind of talked about it before, like after the Tinder nightmare. I went on Tinder, if y'all don't know, on a video, and I swiped and I thought like I found someone that I had clicked with, and then that date was a disaster. So I kind of talked about it afterwards, and I always like came back after dating feeling very frustrated. I just didn't know how to be myself because it's very unrealistic to expect yourself to be your most natural, comfortable self. Like sometimes some people can bring that out of you, like on a first date, but sometimes like if someone is being awkward, you're gonna be awkward too. Like you just like there's no way you can be like 100% comfortable, especially if you know that the person is like not really for you, and especially when you don't know what they're thinking, like if they're thinking of sex and you're not thinking of sex and you're like, oh fuck, how do I say this? So something that I've learned is that it's quite important as a takeaway of every single date and everyone that you encounter to not take things so seriously. Like if it doesn't work out, it might be something that they just don't prefer in you, or they're just not someone that you would date. Like I don't think it's your fault, because you can only tell so much from a Tinder profile, you can only tell so much from a 5-minute conversation. If you go out there and you realize, oh, this guy is not into you, or he's playing you, or he's not at all like the photo that he looked like, oh my god, I've been there before. Trust me, like it's okay, because you're like, this is just another encounter, and just don't take it so personally. It's not that the world is out to get you because you are like a failure in everything, including romance. For the longest time I was like, dang, like I know exactly what to do for my career, I know exactly what to do like to show my friends I love them, and I've got like my life so together, why don't I have my dating life together? And then I realized it's because it's not just all for me to decide. You know, I'm in control of my own life, but I don't have 100% control in a relationship or in like a dating scenario. But then again, it's not like I got 0% either. I have like 50%. So it's on me to look for partners that I think would be suitable for me, whether I want just a casual dating situation or I want a relationship, like a long, stable relationship. And it also depends on the person to show up and be who they say that they are, right? So sometimes like when they don't, you cannot really blame yourself for it. You know, you were hopeful, you were positive, you scheduled for a date, you know, you gave them their shot, and if they don't turn out to be who you think they are, it might also be you, like, you know, making a lot of assumptions on the back. So just acknowledge these things and like really have low expectations going in, especially for the first date, and don't pin all of your hopes on this one person. Like, got a very good feeling about this person is it, for you to be like, oh my god, like I thought that was it, like it was so promising and I can't believe it just like came down to shit. Like even if the first date is good, the second or the third, the fourth, you might eventually see that, oh, this is not the person that they advertised to be. Like they were on their best behavior on their first date and they turned out to be really, really horrible. Or if you felt like the first date was kind of bad but you kept giving them like a second chance and it ended up like being worse and worse. So those are all of my experiences, you know, taking that mindset in and being like, okay, you know, this is who I am at this point. Knowing what you want is good, like knowing if you want to do like a friends with benefits kind of thing, if you want to do a casual dating thing, or if you are looking for like a life partner, like that keeps your mind on track to see like who are the kinds of people that you want to be with. And if you're open to both, open to more, then at least you have that knowledge. And always be clear in communicating that. You know, if you're really just looking for a stable partner, it is much easier and much more efficient to just say to the person, hey, I'm actually looking for a relationship, like I'm not here to casually date. So I just think it's a lot better to be upfront about your own feelings to yourself and to like whoever you decide to date. Obviously you don't want to like spring this on the first date and be like, I'm looking for a husband, or like I'm looking for a wife. Oh my god, I hate all these like, I want to bring you home to my mom kind of like jokes in the first date, because I'm like, bro, like who wants to meet your mom? So yeah, I would say like just don't pretend to want something if you don't want something. I feel like I have a lot more respect to guys who just tell me straight up that they want like a casual dating thing and they're not looking for anything. So it's for me to decide if I want that or not. You can date a variety of people and you know when to like stop giving them chances, you know when to cut them off. There's no like right or wrong way to date. It's really like you make your own rules as you go. So make those rules for yourself. Like set up a real protocol for yourself. Set up like an emergency. Okay, if I need to leave, then I know how to leave. I know how to exit the date without hurting their feelings. Or if even if you hurt their feelings, if they're being like really shitty, then just do it. So having these like prep work, you know, being upfront about what you want, like sort of prevents these like awkward situations of not being on the same page or awkward rejections like being in place. So that's what I would do if I would ever have to go back into dating. And the most important thing is just to lower your expectations, not in terms of the standard of people that you want to date, but in terms of the expectations that they will be the standard that you want to date. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times like it really is, especially online dating, especially Tinder, it's a lot of misses. It's a really, really lot of misses. Don't try and force a hit when it's a miss. Take comfort in being single, like love yourself, and then you can just sort of date for just the fun of it. Like, if you enjoy it, then why not? Okay, those are all of my questions for today. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. I hope I was not too intense. I was not too deep. Oh my god. I hope I didn't scare anyone off. And I hope that you guys won't think of this as like me trying to sexualize my content. I really am just here for educational purposes and me talking to you as how a friend would talk to you. I feel like I also need to get through my issues of feeling like sex is a very taboo thing to talk about, especially when it's in the realm of love and relationships, because that is a very big, strong component in like adult relationships. We are the product of our parents' sexuality and intimacy. So I just feel like when we talk about it more in the open and we stop like making it so taboo or shame to like talk about it, then it's a lot easier for us to like come to terms with our own sexuality and to better think about like our sexuality, our sexual health, our sexual wellness, and like who we want to share our sexuality with, you know? Also, follow me on Instagram if you want to be there for my next round of questions. I will be asking one very, very soon. After we film the love story, we will be asking like a couples Q&A, so you can also ask Mavis questions there. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Follow me on Instagram. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. I make new videos every week, and you can also click the bell to be notified when my video pops up, and I'll see you guys really soon. Bye! Man, you're so clingy. Back the fuck up, bro. Back it up. I want you to come too.